there, my name is Cindy Roberts and I will be your instructor for elementary statistics. I know you're excited, right? This is actually a pretty cool course to get to learn how to analyze data, all that good stuff. I'm going to have a look around a little bit in Blackboard to make sure you know where everything is. I'm actually going to open it early so you can get started and certainly ask me any questions along the way. So there's two parts to this course. I will say the majority of it is in the lab, but don't forget about the Blackboard side because there is Blackboard as well. So in Blackboard is where you want to come to first, and the very first thing I would go to is go to the syllabus, which gives you all of my contact information under the course instructor, and then you're going to see a student contract that's going to say you have to respond to, but then of course to view and download the syllabus. So if I look in here, I can already see the first week, wow, I got all this stuff to do. So I mentioned that contract. This is so important. Many students take an online class and they think it's all online. It's not. Your tests have to be proctored. If you live in the Jacksonville area, easy. You just pick one of the FSCJ locations. So that part's the easy part. If you don't, then you have to fill out the approved remote site, and that's in Blackboard, the form, and you send that to the college. There is a third option that I will bring up again when it gets close to testing time called ProctorU. It allows you to take it at home if you have a web camera. And I leave that kind of up to you. If that's, certainly good for individuals if they don't want to travel, or even if you're somewhere and you can't find a Proctor site. They do cost, though. I believe they're anywhere from $25 to $30 a test, which isn't bad, again, if you want to take it at home. All right, all of your homework, quizzes, tests are in my stats lab. All of it. Okay, so you have to have it. Students always say, do I have to purchase the lab? Yes. This is the code that you're going to need. You're going to need two codes. The first code is, let's say you bought your textbook from the bookstore and it came with a code. That's your registration code, and this is your course ID code, which puts you in my class. If you didn't buy the book from the bookstore, then you might have to go directly to mymathlab.com and then just click that you're a student, and then it's going to say these are the things that you're going to need. So let's grab this course ID right here and say, okay, I'm ready to register. The very first thing it will ask you for is my course ID, and from here you create your account, and of course you need the credit card. Now, it may seem kind of expensive, but when you're in the lab, as I'm going to show you here in a second, you actually have the textbook in the lab. So if you're okay with reading online, you don't have to buy the textbook separately. I leave that up to you. All right, so here, of course, is a list of things that you want to be sure to get completed right away. Here are my office hours. As you're going to see, I'm online and available pretty much all the time. I'm here for you. I know you don't want to do this alone, okay? My phone number here is a cell phone. Feel free to text me and say, Cindy, check your email, whatever you need. It certainly says I will respond within 24 to 48 hours. I like to say 12 to 24 because, once again, I realize you need help. Course description. When the course begins on the 24th, important dates that you should know about. Holidays, I don't take holidays off, but you should, certainly Thanksgiving, but don't feel like you can't email me on a holiday. I'm available. And then, of course, as it mentions, this is an online course from August 24th through December 9th. Required material, if you want to buy the textbook separately, you can, or you can buy it with my math lab, however you want to do it. And then as you continue to scroll through here, look at the learning outcomes. This is the big part, is you want to have this schedule down. Otherwise, you're going to say, oh no, I didn't know quiz 2 was due on the 4th of September. You'll see that in the classroom, I have this where you can print it. You want to print it. You don't want to just keep relying coming here. All the assignments, yes, are due on Sunday midnight, but you do not want to put them off until Sunday. You do not want to put them off till Sunday. I mean, look at this first week. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things you have to get done. You don't want to put them off because the main reason you're going to run out of time. I mean, that will definitely happen. Another big reason is you can't retain the material. If you cram everything the night before a test, you don't retain it, right? So you should do, and I know you all have lives, you all have jobs, you all have children, and so on, but you should try to do at least a couple of problems a day, and then that way you'll retain the material. Don't just say, well, I'm just going to read the chapters and then Friday start the homework. I think you'll see you'll get yourself in trouble, okay? So please space this stuff out. Your typical grading scale, and then of course all the grades breakdown. So let's go ahead and grab and go in to my math lab. So this is on the outside that you go into the lab. I'm already logged in like you as a student. Here's all the homework assignments, and you have quizzes and tests as well. Now I will mention when you come in here, you don't see any tests, right? The reason you don't see any tests, they don't actually open until testing time. The other assignments, I don't mind if you work ahead, okay? So I've went ahead and opened all of these other assignments. Now, once you get in here, if you've never used this before, it's wonderful. Why it's wonderful? You get to redo the questions over and over and over until you get 100%, as long as you complete them by the due date, okay? So for example, let's say I have this first question, I don't know, I'm gonna pick B, and I got it wrong. Well, it gives me another chance. I don't know, I'm gonna pick A. I got it wrong. However, if I click similar question, it gives me another question like that one. I pick an answer. I didn't get it right. I try another one. Didn't get it right. Similar exercise. I can continue to do this over and over and over until I get a fantastic. Once I get a fantastic, I can move to the next question. And in fact, if you go back, you'll see now that it's checked. So as long as you put your time in, there should be no reason you don't get 100% on every single homework. You might say, yeah, but I don't know how to do it. This is kind of cool over here, this question help. They will go through an example with you. They'll also help you solve this exact one. The best part right there, ask my instructor, because you know why? I know what questions you're getting. So anytime you have a question, click that ask my instructor. It will send your exact question to me. Cindy, please help. And then I get this question, and then I respond back to you, and I can help you with the question, okay? So remember that all your assignments are in here in the lab. Now there's some other things in here. I mentioned the student contract, of course, the syllabus. Another thing I mentioned as well is our calendar of activities. And I should say, I just noticed that this shows 12 weeks and you're in a 16-week class. That will get fixed right away. Sorry about that. And so the activities certainly you need to know about. If I go back here to the syllabus, let me click on it just to be sure. And so that's just a copy and paste thing. Here you will see I actually have the 16 weeks. Sorry, see, we make mistakes too. I'm not even going to redo the video just to show you we make mistakes. In the discussion area, you're going to introduce yourself. This is where you could come in and ask me questions. This is probably more about the course because my math lab questions you'll probably ask me in the lab. This area is for you. I've had students in the past actually, you know, hey, do you live in Jacksonville? Y'all want to get together and meet before a test? So that part's kind of nice for you to do. Let me mention your grades are actually what's in my math lab. And I will remind you of that a lot, okay? That's the official grade book, not in here. All right, so don't forget that, please. I can see now I can turn this off because if I go to my assignment, now I get my 16 week, okay? So again, this will be turned off. This is your actual assignment. Let me mention one other thing that you don't see here yet, but it's going to be very important. As students ask questions, I'm going to be making lecture videos, or I don't really want to say lecture because lecture is like an hour, right? Snippet videos that show you how to go through and work problems. Come in here and look for those, okay? I will send reminders when I post them, so that way you kind of get acclimated of, hey, I don't know how to work this problem. I wonder if Cindy's worked this one already. So I will send reminders about that, okay? You'll see a link over here with my Math Lab hints. All right, so again, get comfortable with the material that you have to know in the course. I will send announcements, but as I send an announcement, I will be sure they go to your FSCJ email, so be sure you're checking that daily. But please know I'm here for you every step of the way. You're not alone, okay? I know it's online, but that just means you get me instantly, right? So ask questions throughout the course and please don't get behind. And I will see you online.